everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Blind View here on Becca's World. And here is your host, Miss Rebecca Meadows.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us this evening. We have a full crowd. Brandon and Anya are both with us. How are you guys tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Hope everyone else is doing great too.
Good evening, everybody. You got a little reprieve last week because I was out of town, but this week the Brandinator is back in action. I am doing well, and on a serious note, I also hope that everybody else is feeling likewise.
Yeah, it's great to have you back, Brandon.
Yeah, but you went on vacation. How was it, Brandon?
Oh, I'll tell you. This is Brandon Miller coming to you live on location from state number 48, and she is beautiful. Okay, she is beautiful. There are some incredibly amazing sunrises here. There are some equally amazing sunsets here. We have a variety of geologic features, of land masses, of climates. I mean, if you want the desert like where I'm at, you can get that. But if you want the forest, you can also get that. If you want snow-covered mountains, you can also get that. So I tell you, I really do not mind living in the state of Arizona. We went to the Grand Canyon, and I don't mean to monopolize this conversation, so I will summarize. But yeah, I went to the Grand Canyon for the first time recently, and it's an incredible place. We want to go back because we're not there for very long. And so we do want to go back. But I think that one of the most rewarding things for me was learning about the 11 different tribes that live in, on, and around the Grand Canyon. I just thought that was really, really cool to get to actually hear from some of the indigenous people that, lived there historically and then were made to not be able to live there and now have been, allowed to move back there. So that was a really cool thing.
So, Brandon, I have never been to the Grand Canyon, and I've been planning on going. And it sounds like you guys went on a trip where you were educated on some stuff. So, can you tell us what tourists? I mean, what outfit you guys went with that gave you the tour that educated you on all of that?
Well, actually, what we did was just an event that was, on the calendar of the Grand Canyon. But there is one thing that I did learn, and that is that a lot of the actual tours, and there's a lot of different ways that you can tour the Grand Canyon, to include taking a mule tour.
Oh, wow.
As long as you meet the height and weight requirements. But you can also, there are helicopter tours, and there are also river tours, and that's what I want to do the next time we go.
A river tour?
Cool.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Like on a boat? Like yacht boat? That's cool.
Well, because where we were at was on a place that people probably, it's a pretty common place. We were at the South Rim, actually, and we didn't go to the North Rim because it wasn't even open yet. I was pretty amazed by that.
Was it because of snow? Is that why it was closed?
I don't know. There were also some of the trails that were closed, even on the South Rim. And I'm not sure why that is. They didn't say. But we did walk some of the easy trails. And just for anybody who might be connected with me or my family on social media, yes, it is true. My son, and he is a bit of a daredevil. So you can tell by looking at the pictures, those are not staged or CGI or AI or anything like that. He took a big risk, but it's okay. I'm okay with it. I give him commendation and kudos because he made it back without, any significant injuries. So.
But you said there was an event you went to. What kind of event was it?
Yeah, so if you ever do take a trip to the Grand Canyon, you can look at their calendar, and it's just their calendar of events. And
is their calendar online?
Yeah.
Can you give the address real quick? Do you know the address or?
I don't actually.
Okay.
But It wouldn't surprise me if it was just GrandCanyon.com.
Okay.
But because I say that, or maybe GrandCanyon.us or .gov or so. I say that because
Yeah, okay.
it is actually its own place. You can send mail to the Grand Canyon, Arizona.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
I
Yeah.
bet you could just Google Grand Canyon calendar and you'll find
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah. So you guys looked at the calendar. This was the event you guys chose to go do.
Actually, we did a lot of them that were on the calendar, just because we just thought a lot of them were really, really interesting. Like another one we did was about two brothers who were some of the first Americans to ever explore the canyon. And like initially, they used a canvas boat. It wasn't even a wooden boat or anything, because they wanted something really, really light and maneuverable. And then they did build a wooden boat later, and actually made one of the very first ever films where you could see the Grand Canyon back then. That was in like, what did they say, like 1920 something. I forget what now.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, they were exploring the canyon even back in the 1920s.
100
so
years ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. But it's cool to me to learn about that though, because it's like, how was it originally explored? Before we had drones and helicopters.
Oh, yeah.
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 But yeah, we do want to go back. It's really, really peaceful. I'll tell you guys that it's really, really peaceful. And of course, for those who are sighted, it's some just absolutely breathtaking views, even better than what I described earlier, just living as regular residents in the state of Arizona. That is amazing enough, but the Grand Canyon really has some just really awe-inspiring vantage points. Not that I have vision to see, but I did use some AI apps. Like I would ask them to describe the scenery, and just very, very lush, and just a lot of contrast between like the towering cliffs and the valleys of the canyon. Just really, really amazing. So
Well, I don't want to pour cold water on what you just said about AI, but let's be honest. I mean, we know that AI likes to exaggerate things all the time. I mean, it gives you a good idea. I mean, everybody knows that Grand Canyon is a great place to go see, but just in general, I feel like AI is just trying to be too nice sometimes.
See, but I like it though. See, this is a debate, so I don't mind debating you. I like when AI does that for me, but I know. See, you sound like you're the kind of person that wouldn't like that.
No.
Like you would just like it to stick more like just to the facts. Like, there's a person wearing a gray and blue shirt. But you wouldn't like it if they said they appear to be somewhat unhappy, or they appear to be grinning mischievous. You see, what you wouldn't like that. I don't.
I would.
The info I can get. I appreciate all the info I can get. So
yeah, I do too.
No, I do too. But
it is, the better.
I just feel like they exaggerate. That they make things sound better than they actually are. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Can you give me an example? I don't totally
like,
disagree with you, but
some photos on Facebook when I hear like described, or some photo that I took, and like even okay, let's say there is a dress, like just a random example. You take a dress,
okay.
And I was told that it's pretty ugly colors, like they're not pretty. So you take a picture with AI, and it tells you what those colors exactly are, but it wouldn't really say that it's ugly dress. And I know it's trying to be objective.
Well, that's the problem. AI really doesn't have the ability to form opinions yet.
I know it's trying to be objective for sure, but I need to know, like, whether I don't know how nicely colors match. I mean, I need to be able to evaluate it somehow. I don't know. I just find them a bit too.
I have not cared about colors for a long time. I've been more concerned about what my clothing feels like. My boyfriend actually has me wearing different things now. Like I traditionally have just worn like dresses, right? Because I wear long dresses and they just match, right? You don't have to match a top and a bottom. Well, now Pat has me wearing shorts and tops and capris and tops and pants and tops, and so I've got a very interesting wardrobe now. But you know what I mean?
Well, why did you decide to change?
I actually do care. So I didn't. But remind me though, Anya. Have you ever had usable vision or no?
No, it's very young. I barely remember anything.
Okay. Okay. Well, just because I wondered, and this is a question I'll pose to everybody. Becca, I know you used to, right? You used to have usable vision, right? Do you remember that?
I had usable vision up until I was 12 years old.
Okay, so I mean, have you ever done the experiment where you watch a movie that you had seen before, but maybe now that you don't have as much usable vision, you watch it with audio description, and what do you think?
Honestly, I first of all, I don't watch that many movies. And the last time I watched anything with audio description was several years ago.
And did you like it or not really?
I've never really. I've had very limited exposure to audio description, mostly because I'm more of a bookworm than a movie TV person, right? That's probably the biggest reason. Like I went blind when I was 12, and I was in high school the first time I was exposed to audio described anything when it came to TV or movies. And my mom was really excited. I remember when we got these audio described movies from the Talking Book Library in Helena, Montana. And because my mom was so excited, I was pretty excited to watch one, but it was pretty lame. I mean, but you're talking to someone who never, like, even when I could see until I rarely watched TV before I went blind when I was 12. I mean, that's why I'm really out of the loop. Like, this is going to be embarrassing to admit this, but when President Trump announced that he was running for president, I barely knew anything about the guy. I knew that he had done his show called The Bachelor, but I'd never seen The Bachelor. I didn't know anything about it, and I knew that a lot of people were like up in arms about Donald Trump, and they thought he was like kind of insane, but I totally didn't even know who he was when he announced his running for president, right? So
Becca, you are not alone. You are not alone. I was maybe because I'm not from here. But still, I had no idea. Like when my friend called me and started screaming, like, "Oh my gosh, did you hear that Donald Trump wants to become president? He hates immigrants." I was like, wait, what? Like, let's back up here. Let's talk. So that was my first word that I heard about Trump. But later, I was talking to somebody else and they told me, like, no, like Trump is not against immigrants. He is against illegal immigration, blah, blah, blah. So we went to all those details. But it was funny that was the first time when I heard his name.
When was that, Anya? Was that
2015? Well, after that famous escalator ride that he had when he announced his campaign.
I don't remember even seeing him come down the escalator, but I remember hearing about it. And that's when I started trying to figure out who Donald Trump was, because everybody was upset about it, or some people were happy, right? But so that's when I started trying to figure out who Donald Trump was and the stuff I learned about him. And I learned a lot watching all the crap that the deep state did to him, right? Just watching him go through that, I learned a lot about him, And it makes me want to support him even more.
I just think it's funny, all the Democrats talk about wanting to do is turn the page, but it's funny. Anya said they were talking like that. Even then, one of the first comments she heard back then in Trump 1.0, he hates immigrants. Even back then, and we still hear it today in 2025. Oh my God.
And I didn't care who he was. I just started familiarizing myself more with his agenda, what he stood for, what he wanted to accomplish. Started kind of delving deeper into all the issues that are happening in the country. Like, wait, what? Like, this guy is what I want to be our president. So, I mean,
me too. I liked that. And another thing, like all the crap that I heard the media saying about him was like they were calling him a womanizer. They were saying all kinds of bad stuff about him, right? And honestly, I grew up around womanizers, right? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not scared of a womanizer, right? And another thing, I'm a very strong woman. And And anyway, all of the crap that they've been saying about Trump, most of it just made me want to vote for him even more. You know what I mean?
I know. It's got
Yeah.
the opposite effect because they ran
Yeah.
it practically on lies, like, and there was like what I can't remember who did those analyses, but I think it was like 99, like literally 99% of coverage was negative
Oh,
media. Like,
yeah.
tell me about fair and balanced. I mean, yeah. Yeah, so
But didn't the American people speak loud and clear when they voted, though? Isn't it amazing how all of that crap backfired on them?
Well,
well,
but I'll just say this though. I mean, I'm the kind of person that now in Donald Trump's second term, I will say I don't think or speak too highly or often of the way that Elon Musk has comported himself as far as marriage and children are concerned. I'm not really, I don't really think that's how us men should really comport ourselves. But he's leading the Department of Government Efficiency. Okay, so I don't commingle the two at all. But I mean, I do think that women deserve respect and dignity and things like that. So
no,
but
everybody does.
but I also, in the same vein, I just saw something today. Usha Vance's shoes are so bad. The wife of the vice president. People are really picking on poor Usha Vance. I hope she gives them the rough side of her tongue.
What's wrong with her shoes?
I don't know. I didn't read the article. I thought, that's something more that ladies would read.
And these are the same people who didn't give a damn for Biden greeting somebody, like raising his hand, trying to greet somebody that when nobody was
that
there.
wasn't even there.
Yeah, I know. Falling down the stairs, and they don't like somebody's shoes. Like,
talking to dead people.
Shut the hell up. I mean, yeah. So they were in total denial for all those years that everybody else who with the functioning brain cells knew that Biden was unfit and sick. Yeah.
What do you guys think about what's going on right now? This
in terms of what?
This member of MS-13 that Trump had deported to his home country. Is it Singapore? Is that right?
No, El Salvador.
El Salvador? Yeah, he got deported to his home country, El Salvador. And now there's a liberal one of the liberal congressmen or senators has taken upon himself to go there and try to bring the guy back here.
Wow. I mean, this is just insane. I mean, they say, oh, there's no proof that he was MS-14 gang member. So it doesn't even fucking matter. I mean, that makes the case really, really much worse. But even that aside, he was here illegally, residing here illegally. So, when I hear somebody say, oh, they need to bring him back to his home in Maryland. No, honey, his home is not in Maryland.
Correct. And isn't he known to have murdered a specific female here in America? Like, he's already known to have actually killed American citizens while he was here, wasn't he? I thought there's a woman whose daughter he killed here in America while he was here.
Yeah, they have lots of dirt on him. I mean, I think he's legit criminal, and I think what was done was correct. So this activist judges, so-called judges, should shut the hell up and stop interfering.
Yeah, and these Democratic politicians who think they're going to win points with the voters by standing up for the rights of criminals.
Yeah, not even local criminals, the criminals,
excommunicated
like foreigners. Foreigners.
Yep.
I mean, where's their enthusiasm and energy when it comes to their own people? Where were they when Moms for Liberty were being arrested and harassed? And just one example.
And I love I love the two things that happened today. So yes, it was indeed a senator from his Abrego Garcia's state went down to El Salvador today, but he was denied everything. He wanted to have a visit with Abrego Garcia. That was denied. He wanted to have a phone call with him. That was denied. and then by the El Salvadorian vice president. He said, I don't believe I'm capable of arranging that. And
Yeah,
then,
what's it? Why?
and I don't, well, but then look, the actual president of El Salvador met with our president, Donald Trump, earlier this week and basically said, now I'm not quoting verbatim this time, but basically said, no, we're not going to send him back. We're not going to do that. So the president of El Salvador said, no, we're not. And then I love what the press secretary did. I'll tell you guys about that after the break.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi, guys. Becca Meadows here with my boyfriend, Pat Spanish, with a very important message for you.
Hi, we would like for you to check out the Humane Society and adopt a pet. Their website can be found at the bottom of the screen, and you can see them at humaneworld.org, or check your local listings for your own Humane Society near you.
Yes. Thank you for your time today. Peace out.
Peace.
Hi, it's me, Rebecca S. Meadows, the author, with my new book, Living on Borrowed Time, The Ravings of an Angry Survivor of Traumatic Brain Injury and Guardianship Abuse. It's available on Kindle Digital Download, Amazon Print on Demand, and on Audible. Please go check it out. And now, back to the show. Hey, guys, are you still there?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me this time?
Yeah, we hear you.
Well, let me just continue really quick. If you don't know, our press secretary, Caroline Levitt, today was with a mother whose daughter was killed.
Oh, so Becca was right.
She was there live today. And it's like, okay, and also, have you guys heard that this Abrego Garcia's wife, the media has been trying to,
Yeah, he's an innocent American citizen who's married, who was sent away. But
did you know that she filed for a restraining order against him in 2020 and 2021?
His wife did?
She sure did.
Oh my gosh, because the media's painting her to be this grieving wife whose husband was stolen from her.
Oh, I know, but Caroline literally pulled the paper out and showed it today.
Wow. I didn't see that part. Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, go Caroline. Yeah, I love that lady. I love that lady. I actually do watch her press briefings. Yeah.
Do you watch Newsmax, Brandon?
Yeah, I do. I can't watch them live, but I do watch them on YouTube, and so a lot of times I'm only like an hour behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do, and I did hear that recently they went public, and I'm very happy for them, because I guess they're doing pretty well. But they just went public like 3 weeks ago, a month ago.
Oh yeah, my sister watches Newsmax too, and there's a female commentator who has a show on. I think she does it 5 days a week. I see her every day that I check anyway. Her name is Wendy Bell, and her show is like 2 or 3 hours long. It's 2 hours, I think. But sometimes it starts at 6 o'clock my time, and sometimes it starts at 7 or 8. It just seems like it moves around. But my sister and I love Wendy's show, so we watch Wendy Bell every day if we can. Sometimes we miss her because, like I said, they move her around a little bit in the morning.
But yeah, I bet you could find her like on YouTube later or something, or on podcast.
Have you seen any of Wendy Bell's shows, Brandon?
I have not. I'm gonna go look now. But what I like about Newsmax is they are more objective.
Yeah.
Like they will literally have the a prominent Democrat and a prominent Republican supporter each, and they will both lay out their sides, and they'll debate very vigorously, and I like that.
What an idea, isn't it?
I know, right? Yeah. It's great. It's freaking great. I love it.
Maybe those alphabet channels should learn something from that.
Well, I want to plug Newsmax for our viewers. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can get Newsmax for $4.99 a month, and you can watch it on I watch it on my iPhone, my iPad. You can also watch it on your Apple TV. You can watch it on
Roku?
Yeah, you can watch it on Roku. I'm sure it's an app.
Awesome.
It's an app, and it's really great. I love Newsmax. Oh, and another thing about Newsmax, so for the $4.99 a month, you get more than just one channel. There are 3 channels on there. There's the 2 news channels with the current breaking news, but then they have like a history channel on there too that has all kinds of interesting shows about history, right? Like,
Huh.
like I really like that channel. Like a lot of times, if I mean, I'll look at the first two main channels with the current news, but I'll go look at that one too to see what's on there because they're really interesting shows. They're historical shows about American history, right?
You know, I
And
think my dad has a friend, or maybe my dad himself has it, and he was telling me about that.
yeah.
That history channel part.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's really great, and it's part of what you get for less than $5 a month from Newsmax. You get three great channels. That's just one of the three.
And
Um,
that is a really good price.
yeah, and I've always been a history buff. I used to watch the History Channel and the Discovery Channel and those sorts of things. Like they're going out of style the years I was with my husband because we had like an expanded basic package back then. And so I'm really enjoying watching this History Channel that Newsmax provides because it's American history, which I really love. And I'm because of like my brain injury occurred when I was 12 years old, and I lost a lot of history. You know what I mean? And so I'm able to watch these shows, and it helps me remember history that I've forgotten. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned, Becca, about where you can access those things, like those channels. You
yeah,
said
yeah.
Apple TV, and that reminded me,
Uh,
pretty embarrassing story. Like it was 5 years ago or 6 years ago. So I
uh-huh.
heard all about Apple TV, Apple TV, Apple TV. Like, wow, that sounds pretty cool. I want to have
Yeah,
Apple TV. I was looking for a new iPhone at a time.
yeah,
So, but I actually thought that Apple TV was actual TV set that you can buy.
Oh,
uh-huh,
I don't
Yes,
blame you.
yeah, and I thought like LG or whatever
uh-huh,
model. So because Apple has iPhone, iPad, I thought, oh, they have TV, so I want to get TV. So I started researching. I can't find. We started looking online. Like there's no such a thing as Apple TV. But
uh-huh.
I wouldn't give up. I call Apple and started talking to the operator. And said like, I'm looking for Apple TV. Like, yeah, you can have a subscription. Blah blah blah. I was like, okay, well I can get, but I want to get actual TV. And they're like, no, we don't have a TV. I was like, oh, how disappointing. It was
Yeah.
pretty,
Yeah.
I felt pretty darn stupid.
Well, but so let me, because this is tangentially related. I'm just going to make a recommendation to everybody here and anybody watching, anybody and everybody watching. Roku, like I mentioned earlier, I have one of the Roku boxes, which is, you know what I mean, it's like an Apple TV. It's not an actual TV, but a Roku TV is a TV. So I don't blame you. Because if you're talking about Roku, you can get TVs like what you were thinking, like television sets with Roku built in.
Yeah.
But I don't have that right now. I have the box, like an Apple TV. And if you're gonna stream as blind people anything to your actual TVs, I would recommend either an Apple TV or a Roku. Not a Chromecast, not really a Fire. An Amazon Fire. Yeah, I wouldn't, because they're all slower than either Apple TV or Roku.
Yeah, and an Apple TV is designed to be accessible for the blind.
I heard
so
Fire
was
Stick was
Roku.
good. I don't know.
What'd you
But
say on that?
I said I heard somebody told me, blind person, somebody told me that Fire Stick was good, but it was years ago. Maybe they got worse.
But they're slow though, is what I'm saying. They're accessible, yes, but they're like, you know what I mean? It's like you
Really
hit the
slow.
arrow. TV shows, movies. I want TV shows, movies.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to hit the arrow.
I
and
love
wait
your
5
impression, Brandon.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I don't want to wait 5 seconds. It's like, come on, tell me about the episode. I want to see it. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, that's
So Becca, I have to again tell you, because a new season just dropped. Hallelujah! I've already watched every single episode. A new season of Black Mirror just dropped recently.
Black Mirror?
Yes, and it has audio description, which I think you would appreciate. But I don't know. Maybe you'll just watch it without it. But
I'm so behind. I haven't seen the first season of Black Mirror. I don't even know what it's about. I haven't even seen any shows where people are talking about what the show Black Mirror is about, sweetie.
oh,
I'm
it's
so
popular. It's really good. If
You have no-
you like horror, spooky, like really dark comedy.
You have no idea how disconnected I am from TV and movies, my friend. I
Well, and I
Like-
don't feel like I'm super connected, only to the stuff that I like, which sounds kind of like one-dimensional. I don't mean to be like that, but I in your defense, Rebecca, I think it is hard to find good TV these days.
Yeah, I think it is too. Like I do like watching sitcoms from the 80s and 90s. And
Yeah.
even earlier, like the oldies, like Andy Griffith and stuff. You know, the Andy Griffith Show and Leave It to Beaver and all of those. I love the sitcoms, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think
I'll
you like
really
modern
sit down and
ones
watch
as
these.
much.
You know, one modern sitcom that came out years after I went blind that I really do love is Reba with Reba McEntire.
Ah,
Have you seen that sitcom?
yeah. Okay, that's one of the funny ones. That one is
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah,
And
that
it's good humor. It's great humor. And I love Reba McEntire. I love her singing and her personality. I mean, I never really got to know her personality until watching that show. And I just feel like her personality comes out in the show.
yeah. Well, and you guys, there's a music artist that's pretty prominent right now. His name is Tom McDonald. I like a lot of Mr. McDonald's stuff, but he did a song with Roseanne Barr, and boy, she's pretty outspoken these days. You know that show, Roseanne?
Roseanne, oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so what was the song? Was she outspoken in the song? Or
Oh yeah. Well, and I've heard just little interviews with her, and she's just as out. I mean, she's even like got a rougher tongue even than Reba, and Reba's pretty. her humor.
Did you say
is pretty,
Tom
like,
McDonald and Roseanne Barr? I'll have to. You said Tom McDonald, right?
Yeah.
I'll have to see if my Alexa can play that song for me. I haven't heard it.
I think that one is that Daddy's Home, I think, that she was on. I don't remember it exactly, but Tom McDonald is a pretty good guy. He's one of the Canadians that I think wouldn't mind being a part of the 51st state, although there's a lot that really don't want that.
Oh
So-
gosh, who said
Come
we
on,
want that?
Canadians, what you say? Hey, come on. What you say, Canadians?
Brandon, you don't want them to be your 51st state.
So listen, I grew up 100 miles south of the Canadian border in north central Montana. And I'm telling you, we had Canadians down in our communities all the time, shopping, using our restaurants, using our medical facilities. Canadians love America. And I even, somewhere in Canada, is a girlfriend of mine that I met at the Deaf and Blind School in Great Falls way back in 1991. Her name was Angeline Robin Kendall.
Okay.
And I hope to run into her again someday. I've looked for her on Facebook, but there are, I think, hundreds of Angeline Robin Kendalls in Canada. I can't narrow it down. So, but yeah. So I mean, Canadians are great. And like I said, I grew up really close to the Canadian border, and Canadians, like, I mean, they come down to America all the time.
They can come like tourists.
They really like it here.
Now wait, but you say that, but Anya has a different perspective though.
Well, no, I'm not saying Canadians are bad people. They may be good people, but I don't want them to be our state. I mean, their government is messed up. They're a bunch of freaking socialist Marxists there. The education is...
Alexa, stop!
No, we don't want them. I mean, I personally don't want them to be 51st state.
Well, I do wonder, right? Because seriously, like I'm done laughing. I think, but on a semi-serious note, at least anyway, I do wonder how it would work because they in fact do have a different form of government than we do. So.
And they're just as brainwashed as Californians or people.
Well, but it seems like some of them are and some of them aren't. So I don't know.
Just a few. I mean,
oh! You don't think it's like what we had in the election, like a pretty big split? Like,
No, well, I'm sure there are smart conservative Canadians out there, but I think they're outnumbered. I mean, did you guys see what they were doing to the truckers? Some of them went to protest the safe and effective back in
That's
2021.
true.
Yeah, I mean,
And that was the governor, right? Or the prime minister of Canada,
mm-hmm,
right?
yeah, that
Yeah,
bastard Trudeau and his gang.
yeah,
I
but was
mean,
that the government doing that, or was it the citizenry doing it?
no, listen. So what happened was, so those Canadian truckers got tired of having to go through the border and constantly having to show the certificate that they have taken safe and effective, so-called vaccine, and
hmm
if there were so many restrictions, they could not do this or that. Like they were losing lots of weeks of work, and for truckers to lose weeks of work, it's like losing pay. So
Mhm.
they decided to organize like a big rally, big protest, and then they all drove to um what is it? The capital? Oh my gosh, I'm going blank. The capital,
Uh,
Ottawa. Ottawa,
I'm
yeah.
gonna say is it Ottawa or Montreal? I think it was Ottawa though.
Ottawa, uh-huh. So lots of truckers showed up and they were there for days and they were protesting mandates. I mean, during COVID, it was so horrible there, you guys. I mean, I don't know how much you know, that people could not even go grocery shopping.
In Canada?
Yeah,
Well,
like
and it was even worse because eventually the prime minister of Canada, a lot of them even got debanked and everything. Like the stores were closed, number one, but even the ones that were open, the truckers' banks started saying like, no, we are not going to deal with you. We don't want you. No, we're going to disconnect your card.
yeah,
No.
and they froze people's accounts. I mean,
Yeah.
how illegal
Yeah.
all that was.
And if I was the Canadian truckers, I would get a list of the banks that did that, and I would tell the people so that the people would pull their business out of those banks. You know what I mean? Because those banks are not doing what's in the best interest of the people. You know what they're doing, what the government wants them to do.
Correct. I remember that.
Yeah.
That's
I
what I'm
do.
talking about. And then there are a lot of people who were in on board with what the government was doing.
Yeah,
So
that was insane. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked by that.
and they were trying to play down like TV, the press was trying to play down, oh, those truckers showed up, blah blah blah. They were trying to sabotage their protest. And
Yeah.
then what eventually happened, they refused to leave, and then the government sent the police down there. So they seized
Oh
all the cameras, all the phones
yeah.
from people, and they started smashing the windows on the people's trucks and
Uh,
beating them up, and it was just crazy mess going on there.
yeah.
All from the,
That's
on
a
the.
socialist government where
I
that's
know
what
that's
they're
why I
doing.
don't want Canada to be part of ours, part of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, because you're right. Because if they do become part of the United States, that whole population will become part of our voting bloc.
Uh
And if
huh.
most of them are liberals, we don't want them to be voting in our elections
Mhm.
Well,
Exactly.
because
and
our president leans conservative.
have you guys seen? I love it. I really do love it. Have you guys seen where Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama appear to be fully supportive of Donald Trump because of previous speeches that they've made? Isn't that great? Isn't that
I
great?
didn't
I
see
love
that.
that. I
Where did you
love
see
that.
that? Tell it. The
Oh
details.
yeah, I've seen it on Newsmax. I've now I am gonna name drop here. I might become really unpopular really quick, Becca. So I hope
Okay,
this
go
doesn't
ahead.
result in anything too negative happening. But I do listen to Infowars, so they've
I
played
don't know what
several
that is.
several clips of Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi in previous speeches saying very, very similar things to what Donald Trump is saying now about illegal immigration
Oh
and about
yeah.
Oh
crime.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I'm used to the Democrats talking out of both sides of their mouth. I mean, that's pretty typical.
Yeah, I misunderstood. I thought you were saying that you heard Obama and Pelosi, complimenting Trump for what he's doing. I was like, what? I didn't hear
No,
that.
no, 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 no. Well, but
No,
essentially they are though,
but
because
The
in the past,
hell would freeze
in the
over before
past,
they do it.
in the past, they've said that the things he's doing were what needed to be done.
correct,
Basically, is what
correct.
Brandon's saying. I've seen those reports or those.
Yeah, I did too on
Uh,
Twitter a lot.
Yeah,
those
I
Pelosi
love
from
reports.
those.
1997 or something. She was saying
Yeah,
pretty much what Trump
yeah.
is saying. How quickly things
So
change.
isn't it funny? It's like it's very ironic, you know?
It's ironic and hypocritical, like beyond whatever comes after hypocritical. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it really is, because we see all of this about this deported person.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages.
Why don't they have blind people sections at sporting events? Why do I gotta pay the same price to not see shit? Okay? The Jumbotron ain't even built for me.
I am the business manager here at the Visually Impaired School of Arizona.
I see you brought the film crew. Make sure you get my good side.
All right, settle down and get focused on your tasks.
I teach the art of cuisine, child.
You wanna know the problem? The biggest problem in the blind community is you sighted people.
Just take a look over here.
Yeah, I don't know where that is, man.
Okay, you all need to turn off those cameras and just leave the building.
Wait, Joe, hold on.
Oh, on your right.
You're on the right.
How would you know that the men you're dating are black?
No, this is not card member services. This is the Visually Impaired School of Arizona.
Gigi, where are his pants?
I don't know.
Billy doesn't work here. He basically came with the building.
I can be the very first mayor of Blind Sylvania.
Make blind America great again.
There goes my pie.
This happens every day?
No, of course
Sometimes.
not.
Oh man, I really hope that show goes well.
Yeah.
'Cause I've seen some different interviews with different people involved with that show. Some of the actors and it's everything. I just that's I like the part about the cooking teacher. I teach the art of cuisine, child.
Oh yeah. Brandon, have you gotten a chance to see the whole episode yet?
So yeah, I was given an opportunity to do that a while ago, a couple months ago, I think.
Okay, so you did see the whole thing?
Yeah, the pilot episode.
Yeah, the whole pilot. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty funny. That is pretty funny.
So I wanted to talk to you guys. Are either of you going to the ACB or the NFB convention in July?
Yeah, we talked about that. We are planning to go to NFB convention.
You are planning on going to the NFB convention?
Yeah, I think so.
I am not.
I was gonna go to the ACB convention for the first time this year.
Yeah, that's what you said last time. Yeah, I remember.
But God, prices of everything are so expensive, and my boyfriend and I want to go to Minnesota in August for my family reunion. So I actually think I'm not going to go to either convention this year.
Oh, okay. And where is that? Where is ACB again?
So ACB is in Dallas.
Oh,
and
in
it's
Dallas.
it's around the same time that the NFB is doing theirs, I think. So
Yeah, you were planning to go. Is that really that? Like, what's more expensive, like the tickets or the hotel or what?
Prices of everything are so high.
No, they are. You're not wrong. In
Yeah.
fact, I heard the other day that people just to go to like music festivals are like putting that on credit cards and like doing it in installments.
That's what I'm talking about. And prices
Yeah.
prices have been high for so long. I've depleted my savings, and I'm not going to put it on a credit card to go on a trip. Is what I'm saying. And so I'm prioritizing the trip to my family reunion in August because I haven't been to the family reunion in several years.
Is it a tradition in August? You do? You guys?
Yeah. So it was something that my family started. Gosh, I think it was like around about 20 years ago. I think. And they didn't do it when I was a kid, right? Because when I was a kid, we actually all saw each other every weekend. But because when I was a kid, I'd go to Minnesota in the summers to see my dad and my stepmom and all my aunts and uncles and cousins and my grandparents. Well, every weekend we'd all gather at Grandma Strom's house, so we'd get to see everybody every weekend. But then, like all the grandkids grew up, and the aunts and uncles, a lot of them, like their lives changed. Some of them got divorced, and some of them retired, and some of them are in bad health. But some of them that are still around, we do this family reunion every year, but it's only once a year we all get together. And like I said, we used to get together every weekend in the summer when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's great. It's great to see everybody, but I haven't actually been there in a few years, so I'm really excited about going.
And what city is it in?
I think Elmdale, Minnesota. Do you want to come?
No, I was just curious because I lived for a few years in Minnesota, in Minneapolis.
Oh, really? Oh, in Minneapolis?
Yeah, when I worked for Blind Incorporated, when they existed. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, they don't
Is
anymore.
Did Blind Inc. go out of business?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. In fact, just heard the other day that they're going to restart supposedly in 2026, so they're working on it. But yeah, the management was poor, and they didn't do much recruitment. So I don't know. There were multiple reasons. That some of them I'm aware of, some of them not.
Yeah.
But I know that the building, the Pillsbury Mansion, was causing lots of trouble because it's such an old building.
Yeah, it probably costs a lot to upkeep.
Oh yeah, it was very expensive. And
so are they moving to a different location then?
Yeah, I heard they're gonna be renting a place. So I just heard the other day that they sold the Pillsbury Mansion.
Well, that's amazing. I actually was a student at Blind Inc. in the Pillsbury Mansion for a while. That place.
Yeah, I remember you telling us. Yeah, so you've been to that building.
Yeah, so the Pillsbury Mansion, it's like a historical site, right? And
yeah, it is on historic registry.
It's really cool. It's a really cool place to go tour. But when you're wearing a blindfold and you're walking around in that building with a cane and you're totally lost, like there's this thing called the Grand Staircase that goes
I know.
through the whole. Oh, you've been there, Anya. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, Anya, I used to get lost in the basement and get all turned around.
They remodeled it. I haven't seen the new one because I had left when they started remodeling. But I remember, basement at first was confusing. I remember that.
Oh, it's very eerie too. I swear to you, I thought the ghosts of the Pillsburys were down there with me at times when I was walking around totally lost with my sleep shade on and my cane.
That's weird because I never got the feeling. I would stay there. I lived there. Okay, I worked and lived there at the same time. So there were weekends when there was nobody in the building, just me.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel eerie. Like, you would think, 3-story mansion, like a gigantic building, and you're all by yourself. But I didn't really get that feeling. Maybe a couple of times when I had to go like late at night downstairs to the kitchen, to the basement. Maybe like, it kind of feels funny. Let me play some music or something and go with it.
Yeah.
But overall, I felt quite comfortable there.
Yeah.
Well, as much as I'm into horror, I really am into it. I read books, I watch TV shows, I watch movies, I listen to music, podcasts. I really am into it. But I say that only to say that I don't actually think all ghosts are malicious, or all entities, all spirits, whatever you want to call them. I don't. In fact, I was talking with my wife just the other day. If I ever got to play somewhere like the Ryman Auditorium or behold the Grand Ole Opry, I imagine that I might sense some presences there, and I imagine they might kind of give me a vibe like, you better not mess up, boy. And so I wouldn't. I would ensure that I wouldn't. If I were going to perform at a amazing place like that, I don't doubt that I would sense some presences, but I don't think they would be malicious. So.
Well, there's some beliefs in certain countries, in some some pagans believe that in every building, like in every home, there is a home. What do you call it? Like ghosts. So suppose every house, every building has those.
Yeah. So when I went to Blind Inc.
What's that?
I was just going to say, when I went to Blind Inc., it was like a totally scary experience for me, but it was my first time doing sleep shade training.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't cheat, right? Like I wore my sleep shade all the time. I didn't peek like other people did. And so that might be one reason why I really felt out of sorts at Blind Inc. Because that first time experience.
Well,
Yeah, maybe that.
but you today though, Becca, are a confident, competent blind woman, are you not?
Oh yes, indeed.
Okay, so I got to tell you, man, that was one thing. I used to work at a blindness rehabilitative agency as well, and that's one thing that always used to make me mad because I am blind, people. I don't have any shame in saying that. I do not have any usable vision. I cannot see color. I cannot see contrast. I cannot see depth. I cannot see hue. I cannot see.
Do you have light perception?
Oh, okay, yeah, but to me
Okay.
that doesn't count. I mean, everything to me is either pure white or pure black, but it
Right,
isn't.
yeah.
Objectively, it isn't. And
Yeah.
because I know about gradients of color and different shades of color, and I'm aware of that, but I cannot see it. And so people, I don't get to peek people, and
Right.
and so you're only hurting yourself when you do
Right.
stupid crap like that.
Yeah.
Because eventually the odds are good that you're gonna go blind as well. I'm sorry to tell you. I am sorry to tell you. I don't want that for anybody. But I mean, if your doctor tells you this is a progressive condition, eventually, we get at a point where there's nothing else that we can do. So you're probably, you're not going to be able to depend on that vision forever. I'm sorry to tell you. So you may, if you sign the paperwork and you agree to go to a blindness training center, you may as well just learn to do things the way a blind person does. And think about it like this. Think about it like you're doing ninja training or something.
Right.
Think about it however
Exactly.
the hell you got to think about it. But stop doing that stupid crap where you cheat. Because I can tell as a blind guy. I can tell.
Well, I beg to differ a little bit, Brandon, in terms of if the doctor, condemned your visions, like it's forever, it's done, like you're diagnosed for life. Maybe from the Western perspective, because the doctors are trained to do so much and they know so much, but there is also Eastern medicine, Eastern approach. And I'm not a living example of it because I learned about it way too late in life. I'm not saying that it is impossible, but what I'm saying is there are many different techniques that people could use to save their remaining vision. There is somebody called somebody
Okay.
named can't remember his first name, last name Bates. Baits. I could be wrong in spelling, but anyway, William Bates. I think that's what his name is. And back in the 1920s, he developed some method, some exercises what you could do, and it's all explained. I cannot reiterate exactly because it's been a long time since I read about it, but it's all very well explained how it works, and the Western medicine just totally dropped it. Like, okay, that's so much easier to prescribe glasses or to do the surgery and, some so traditional approaches. But people have been able to save their vision by being committed to saving it and doing different exercises, not being lazy.
They
being
have,
consistent.
though.
Well,
They have?
it depends what causes your visual problems. You know what I mean?
Well, but okay, but I mean, so based on what Anya's saying, I said earlier, I am sorry to I don't mean to be overly abrupt or disingenuous. I don't, I don't want anyone to have to be blind. So if there are techniques, then I say do them. But don't do that. Still, I say don't do it while you're at the blindness training center.
Of course.
Do them, and then if you are able to save your vision, because see, I'm actually just trying to be proactively thoughtful for the person. You know what I'm saying? Because what I don't want people to have to do is go through all this training, not really care about it, cheat their way through it, and then come back years later. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But people are not trained to think in those terms at all. They tend to trust the doctors. Doctor knows the best, supposedly, and a lot of them do help people. That's fine. but nobody likes to talk about those alternative methods. And it's not just about vision and many other conditions. It's so much easier to prescribe you a handful of pills and go on your way, be on your way, you know.
Well, yeah, and with the pharmaceutical companies, like, oh, sometimes that's the bottom line for the doctors. They want to prescribe you pills because they get kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the big differentiator, though, between what the vantage point that I approached it, yes, I did approach it from the way that it is often approached over here in the West, in the U.S., by ophthalmologists. But Anya's saying, sometimes if you use some different approaches, you can actually save your vision, and you don't. You don't only have to just believe the Western eye professionals. And I agree with that. I had just never heard that.
Yeah, just look at William Bates and see what you find on him. Yeah, because many ophthalmologists don't even want to hear about it, because they are programmed to think only in those terms that they learned in school and from the pharmaceutical industry. Like, oh, okay, I'll prescribe you glasses. In fact, I heard so many times that glasses are not good for you. It makes your vision only worse over time.
Which makes sense to me, because then the glasses are just compensating for what your eyes aren't able to do. So you're not strengthening your eyes. You're just using a tool, right? And that's where I do believe a lot in like chiropractic adjustment. I believe in acupuncture. Sure. But I just had never heard that there are sort of different cultural or ethnic approaches to eye care that are radically different than the West. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll tell you a quick story. I know we're close to the end, but I'll tell you a quick story. I read one guy who is a doctor, but not like medical doctor, PhD, like philosophy doctor, but back in Uzbekistan, actually, like in Soviet times, he was, and he still is around. But anyway, so they were working on eye treatment, and he was incorporating lots of those stuff from William Bates and some new techniques of what he has developed. Anyway, so they developed this whole new system of how to improve your vision. So then they send it to different countries. I don't remember what other countries were, but there was one. Okay, so he sends this proposal, and nobody responds. Nobody responds at all. Only one country responded, and it was Japan. And they answered, well, thank you for sharing this information. It's very interesting, but as a country of Japan, we cannot afford this. I was like, wait, what? Like, so he started figuring out what they meant. I can't remember whether he wrote back to them and asked for clarification. I don't remember. But the point is, the answer eventually was that they meant they could not afford it, because if people start to learn how to use their eyes properly, they won't need glasses, and the industry would lose so much money. And
my god!
I thought it was pretty exemplary story. Like, yep, they're not interested in developing anything like that because they need to keep raking money in.
Wow. But that's how they meant it, though. See, that's terrible.
It is terrible. And then in Russia, he opened Eye Institute. Again, not traditional one, but based on all those techniques that he learned, those practices. But they happened to find a location next to the eyewear store, and they were approached by some tough-looking dudes, and they were told, "Hey, you need to get out of here because you're interfering with our business."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So. Because they didn't want them to. Why would people come?
See, and that's why I like Donald Trump's concept of right to try. Right, and that's in a different sort of
realm.
Context.
I know.
But it's just the whole idea that, like, well, okay, look, if you've exhausted all of the traditional options, you should have the right to try other more exotic or different approaches from different countries, whatever. You should have the right to try. I like that whole concept.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So and But you're right though, Anya. I think I've said, I don't mind saying, I think I've said on this show before. If not, I'll just say it now, and just here it is. This is how I roll. I am a cancer survivor. However, I was basically made to go the traditional route of chemotherapy, which I didn't really like. And my whole journey, it did not increase my faith in allopathic medicine at all. Nope, it didn't. I kind of wished it would have. I kind of wish that I would have went in there and would have come out thinking, I was a little bit too harsh on the Western medicinal approach. I've done some thinking, but nope. However, there is a place here in Phoenix that does use more natural approaches. However, they don't work with insurance at all.
That's another big issue.
So, Brandon, can you share with us the name of the facility that does cancer treatment alternatively? Because I've been thinking about this, and I'm curious about it.
You know what? Let me get the name for you next show. I don't have it off the top of my head.
Okay.
But they were very nice, and they did recommend like some things that I could try and some other locations because I couldn't work with them. But yeah, I'll get you the name of it either offline, or I'll just provide it to everybody here. Just because if you know anybody who thinks they may have, or I'll tell you guys this: if you have a lump or a bump that's kind of weird and not going away, you should get that checked out. You should really get that checked out. So
well, I just want to know, because I've always found better luck with alternative forms of medicine than Western medicine. And I've already decided if I'm ever diagnosed with cancer, I'm not going to do Western medicine. I want to look for alternatives. And there was a cancer treatment center where I used to live. And so I thought there might be a cancer treatment center here.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. And yes, and they do use a totally different approach than chemotherapy or radiation.
Yeah, it's important to look, because you should see a movie. It's called Truth About Cancer.
I'm familiar with that a little bit. I've never seen the movie though.
Yeah, there is a movie, and I watched only 2 series. They're pretty long, but I'll tell you guys some other time about this. But
ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed today's show. Please make sure you are subscribed. Peace out.
Oh yeah, bye everybody.
Bye everyone.
Bye everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you for watching Becca's World. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.